So again, these are just 4 areas that I think are really important to capture when we understand how children may be impacted. If we break this down a little bit further, we can see that these are some additional psychological symptoms or ways that children may experience racial discrimination. So I touched on anxiety a little bit. So they may have constant worries and fears about being treated unfair. But what I've also seen is that sometimes children may be afraid about the safety of their parents. So if the parent is, let's say, stopped by the police, for example, they may have increased anxiety about, is my parent going to be harmed in this particular scenario? Anger and frustration is another thing that may happen. And so obviously, when injustice occurs, individuals are going to be upset about that. One of the things that happens with children is that when this anger is not addressed, it might build up and then they may lash out on others. So either aggressively or they may be more irritable under certain circumstances. Third, children may experience sadness or depression. I like to highlight both of those because for me as a psychologist, I want people to recognize that sadness is oftentimes in relation to a particular context or setting. It tends to be more short-term in terms of the emotion going away, whereas depression is much more longer lasting and tends to last weeks or even months. And so we want to recognize that children may have both or one of those types of emotional reactions. Fourth, as I mentioned before, racism can impact self-esteem. And so individuals may have a lower self-esteem as a result of these experiences. And this often is due to being having these repeated messages of being not good enough or less than. And finally, there may be interpersonal difficulties. And so racism can make it hard for children to trust others, and they may struggle to maintain friendships, or they may feel excluded. So again, I wanted to just sort of highlight these because I do think that when we understand some of these psychological reactions of racism for children, that if you notice any of these changes in your child, I would definitely encourage you to seek out the support that you may need to better understand how to help support your child.